by any means, but throws a beautiful ball, checks the boxes 6'6". He's athletic. He can run, makes every throw. What I really like about him actually on the football side is he has some great touch. We've seen guys with big arms not be able to throw that soft touch pass, throw that changeup, if you will. In fact, we had that guy in Blaine Gabbert. He could not take anything off the fastball and be able to hit a receiver on maybe a screen pass or just a little wheel route or whatever it might be. Those were harder throws for him. I like that about Trevor Lawrence. But then there's this other side where I almost feel like people, after you watch and listen and read about people who are around Trevor Lawrence, that they almost like this guy off the field more. The leadership qualities, the man who he is, the ability to handle being the number one pick, being a franchise quarterback in the NFL. What do you like most about him, the football side or the other stuff that is important, by the way, at the NFL level if you're going to play quarterback and be the franchise guy?
Sure. I mean, there's just so much to like. I'll start with the football side. You talked to Dabo Swinney about Trevor Lawrence, and he says he basically has a photographic memory, and it's pretty remarkable to interview him after he comes off the field, and he can replay every play in his brain for you. He can tell you exactly what type of coverage they were in. He can tell you exactly where he went wrong, if he threw an interception, what it was supposed to be. I mean, he just processes so incredibly well, and I think that we sometimes take that for granted because he does make it look so easy. And then as a runner, I think we've seen last year and into this year, like Trevor has some wheels. He can scoot a little bit, and so just a guy that got more versatile and better and just had such command of Clemson's offense with each year. And I think that his mind and the way that it works is going to be perfect for the NFL level. But then off the field, Trevor has been the same person every single day. I can honestly say I've never seen him mad, annoyed, upset in media settings. I mean, no one was under the microscope quite like Trevor has been since he got to Clemson. No one has been under as much scrutiny. And it was really cool to kind of see him, figure out, okay, here's what I care about, and here's what I'm going to stand up for off the field, and here's how I'm going to use my voice, and here's how I'm going to take my platform and use it for good. And so I think that was something that he said in his video this morning, was that he hopes he's remembered at Clemson for the way he treated people. And I would certainly say that's a mission accomplished, because he just treats everyone with such respect and kindness, and is the same guy every single day.
Grace, a quarterback that came before Trevor Lawrence at Clemson was Deshaun Watson. Now, I'm not sure if you were there when Deshaun Watson was playing, but, you kind of had the feeling that Deshaun Watson could be something special. There's a couple red flags, a couple question marks about the arm talent and all that stuff, but overall, people thought he was going to be successful. Well, now you have a guy like Trevor Lawrence, who's always been kind of the front runner. He's won a national championship himself. Like, as Trevor Lawrence is leaving now, like, do you hear, I guess, kind of like the murmurs and stuff of people around Clemson saying, look, man, we thought Deshaun Watson's going to be good, but wait till they get a hold of Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, I think Clemson looks at it in the sense of it's kind of this running joke at Clemson about how they keep signing these quote-unquote generational quarterbacks. And now the word generational basically means like every 3 years. And so obviously Deshaun set the stage at Clemson. There is absolutely no doubt that Clemson is not what it is without Deshaun and the foundation that he laid. But I think Clemson's coaches and fans were still pretty optimistic about Trevor, knowing that they were going to be in good hands. And then really, 4 or 5 weeks into his freshman year, he wins the starting job. He beats out Kelly Bryant, who was the senior incumbent at that time. And I think it just took a couple of games for people to see his arm and just to see the way that he processed things. And it was pretty clear, okay, Clemson might have just won his first national title since 1981, but this seems like it's going to be a domino effect. And as we know, Trevor just played in his third college football playoff.
Grace Raynor with us from The Athletic. I know you got to run in a couple moments, so let me just ask you 2 quick questions. One being, I like Trevor Lawrence maybe more than Justin Fields in this draft, and I do like Justin Fields, by the way, because I think Lawrence's floor is going to be higher. I think even if things don't go unbelievable, this guy's going to still be pretty good. How stunned would you be if he's not an at least good quarterback in the NFL?
Oh, I will be very surprised. I mean, I think Trevor has the makings of one of the all-time greats, and I think that he kind of proved that at Clemson. Again, he came in with all this hype and all this expectation out of high school, but we didn't really know how that was going to translate onto the college field. And then as a true freshman, he leads Clemson past Alabama 44-16, and all of a sudden you've got NFL GM saying, I would take that guy number 1 right now, reportedly. And so I will be very, very surprised if Trevor doesn't have a remarkable year. I just think that he has everything that you want in a franchise quarterback.
And one last question for you. We've heard Urban Meyer's a hot name around here. Dan Mullen's name has been whispered. Matt Rule went from Baylor to Carolina. We're seeing Kingsbury into the pros in the NFL. It felt like Dabo's name had been kind of out there a little bit to maybe he'll go to the NFL. I'm not hearing any of that. We don't hear Dabo's name at all. Why is that? And could there be any type of stunner that Dabo Swinney jumps in the fray somewhere along the way, not just in Jacksonville, but anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, Dabo has always been a coach that has said never say never. And in the past, a lot of that has been the response to the questions that he's fielded about Alabama and becoming, the successor to Nick Saban. And so he's always been a never say never kind of guy. But he's also been extremely intentional and very upfront about the fact that he has everything he could ever want at Clemson, and he's super happy at Clemson. And obviously he has built this juggernaut. Clemson is a dynasty under his leadership and because of his program and his culture. So I would be surprised to see him make the jump to the NFL. I think his style is better suited for, teenagers, young guys in their 20s anyway. So it would surprise me, but I don't know. I mean, 2020 also surprised me in so many ways. So I feel like I'm probably never going to say anything with any sort of definitive nature, maybe for the rest of my life.
Yeah, fair enough. Grace, Raynor.
Grace,
go ahead.
real quick, so obviously hopefully the Jaguars, at least in my opinion, I hope they get Trevor Lawrence, and expecting his arrival here on draft day. I've been doing my research, my due diligence, and I've kind of come across an off-beaten article on southernliving.com of all places. And in this article, a couple of his teammates have said that the guy is a baby whisperer. Now, is there any truth to those legs? Like, have you heard, is he great with kids or something like that? Because I find it quite weird that a bunch of his teammates have come forward and said that he's great with kids.
That is really funny. I have not heard that, but just being around Trevor, I could definitely see it. He just has kind of this calming presence, and especially for someone who's 6'6" and stands out like he does. I don't know. He just has a very chill vibe that I think that people in Jacksonville will pick up on very quickly. I've heard he's not very good at video games. I will tell you that. I've heard that he's actually a pretty awful Madden quarterback. But the baby whisperer thing, I don't think that would surprise me that much. He kind of has that soft side.
Grace, Raynor, great insight on Trevor Lawrence. And by the way, you've got me going back and reading all your articles now over the years on Trevor Lawrence, and probably the rest of Jacksonville. You can do that on The Athletic. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hopefully we'll do it again sometime down the road.
That sounds awesome. Thank you all so much for having me.